Hi, I'm Greta Kelly from Knitters and Critters, and welcome to another highlights episode all about episode 4 of Exandria Unlimited CALAMITY. Mandatory spoiler warning, of course, right off at the top. We're going to be talking about everything, all about episode 4. So if you haven't watched it yet, go do that and come back. And you guys, I don't even know how I'm going to do a highlights episode for this. I felt like the entire 6 hours I was the human equivalent of the screaming emoji. Like, it was so good. And you know it's going to be good when the episode starts off immediately with Brennan rolling like all of the dice in Laura Bailey's dice bag. Seriously, I was trying to count, and I think I lost count even after a while, but in that first second of gameplay, I think there was like a cumulative 700-ish points of damage dealt to this group. Someone like go check crit roll stats and then drop it in the comments. I want to know how much damage the Ring of Brass took because holy God, it was so much. And that was before like the main villains even like rocked in. It was just the exploding tree of names. And that moment, like, Brennan was so keyed in. He was like the epitome of cold, ruthless dungeon master god when he looked at Marisha and asked her, "Do you think Paisha is weakest at the elbow or the shoulder?" Oh my God. And then watching Marisha's like expression, like you could see she was trying to do the mental math of, oh God, this is not good. What can I afford to lose? Of course, it turned out that Paisha couldn't really afford to lose anything because she died like immediately. And then Nidus dies and Quay and Xerxes. And, you know, Laren obviously managed to survive, which I thought there was something really poetic about her casting that blight and then having to watch everyone that she loved dies. But then, of course, time stops and Xerxes is back up. And we all know, like, the third episode ended with Vespin and the Lord of the Hells coming through, like, in the act of crossing through the gate. And this episode, we got to see that really come to fruition because Xerxes comes back up, time has stopped, and he's confronted with the truly monstrous visage of the Lord of the Hells.
Hello, it's me.
All of them. Apparently there are hundreds of faces just like flashing through. And then he sees the one beautiful, broken, sad face of the Lord of the Hells and focuses on that and reaches out a hand and pulls him through. And oh my God, that was agony to watch. Like, Xerxes, why? Like, how have you not realized that this is a terrible idea? And of course, I'm sure, like, like Louise obviously knew. He's not dense. But Xerxes as a character was, like, so far gone at that point that he pulls the Lord of the Hells through and, like, tries to cast atonement on the Lord of the Hells. And all I could think was that he really started to feel like every heroine from a Lifetime movie who's in an abusive relationship and like somehow thinks that love can change her partner. Like, really, Xerxes? You think you can atone the devil? Of course not. And Brennan played it again, like, chef's kiss. Brennan, you are perfection. He just like looks at Xerxes and is like, oh, that's so strange that your atonement isn't working. That's probably because I haven't done anything wrong. And then kills Xerxes like 4 times, I think. Again, this is all in like the first half hour of this episode of like a 6.5 hour episode. My brain is still broken. So he kills Xerxes, and of course now Xerxes has a choice to make. The devil gives him a very Faustian choice. You can come back and interact with the world again, but only if you sell your soul and basically become my true champion. And while Xerxes is mulling over his options, he finally gets to see Evandrin. And I thought that was just like such a beautiful scene. it was so nice to finally hear Evandrin as himself, not as he was being portrayed by the Lord of the Hells or just as people have described him to the audience. It was very touching to see that reunion and to kind of understand why Xerxes is so distraught and heartbroken and why he was so easy to manipulate into this moment. And I think we can all safely agree that Xerxes has, taken the crown of saddest character in all of Dungeons and Dragons firmly away from like all of Liam's characters. Sorry, Liam, you are no longer the saddest man to play D&D. And of course, Xerxes takes the deal. I mean, he's just, if there's punishment to be had, he's going to take it. That's just the way his character is. But I really loved the moment when he came back, when he, first he ordered Vespin Chloris away, but then he stopped him and he cast that healing or that cleansing touch. And I remember seeing like Lou and Sam's faces when he did that, like, we're about to die like permanently and you're gonna like waste time trying to cleansing touch this dude. But it was such a good call. It was so smart. And I don't know if Louise had any idea that Vespin Chloris, I know there was like a hint laid that he really regretted his decision, but it was such a good idea on Louise's part to do that, because not only did Vespin Chloris help give Xerxes more time. I mean, I think he gave him like 2 extra hours or until dawn so he could help his friends do what they needed to do. But I mean, just from like a storytelling perspective, it was so interesting getting to see Vespin Chloris as himself for a moment, because obviously as audience members, we're used to seeing like the results of an antagonist's actions from the outside, but it's very rare that you get to see any sense of regret or loss or bitterness that they might feel about the actions that they have taken, for which that there's no coming back from. So I really loved that moment with Vespin Chloris. Yeah. God, this episode was so amazing. I feel like I'm going to say that 8 times, so feel free to make it a drinking game. They all come back together and they have a choice to make. And it's like the first of 4 Sophie's Choice situations that they're going to face in this episode. And basically they have to decide, are you going to try to fix the helm? In which case you would need to roll like freaking perfectly the entire time. Or are you going to try to modify the astral layrite, essentially to use it to banish the primordial emperor and empress? And of course they go that way, which makes total sense, both from a character standpoint as just like as a player as well. I mean, Laren at least knows everything there is to know about the astral layrite, so it makes sense that she would want to just modify that. And then they did something kind of unexpected. I was really surprised they all kind of took a beat to go and do other stuff. I was like, really, the world's ending and you're all just gonna like go your separate ways for a hot minute? But they all did really interesting things. Of course they did. They're like veteran character actors. Of course they made it interesting. But I think my favorite part was actually Paisha's. She goes to the Archsept and she looks at that statue of her grandfather, and she's kind of thinking about this. I guess you can't even call it a near-death incident, because I think she technically did die and just come back. But she was thinking about that clearly and remembering her like last thoughts about how useless it is to have all the knowledge in the world if you don't pass it on. And so she breaks the library off the statue and she takes her sphere and she teleports it to Saret's daughter, Maya. And I remember when that happened, I like leapt out of my chair. I grabbed my phone and I like tweeted out, holy crap, did Paisha just like invent the Cobalt Soul? Like somewhere, is there a universe in which Bo is in the library of the Cobalt Soul and finding Paisha's memory sphere? Like, how cool would that be? I tweeted Marisha. She has not responded, so we'll just have to hope it's addressed in the next Four-Sided Dive, because I love that shit. Anytime there's like deep woven Easter eggs, I'm all for it. So yeah, let me just have that geeking out moment of someone who loves libraries that much. But anyway, they all come together to modify the astrolabe, right? And of course, they can't just work in peace. I mean, it's the end of the world, baby. Like, they're not gonna get to work just as a unit alone. Vespin Chloris comes a knockin' with some of Nidus's taxmen. I know I did theorize that the Hodmedads were evil. I didn't guess that the taxmen would be turned. But I guess you can't be perfect every time. God, yeah, they had 3 rounds to do everything that they needed to do. I really liked that Brennan, let everyone know ahead of time, this is the amount of time that you have, so use it well. I thought that was really clever, because we all know that we were on a clock, but knowing that that's the exact number of rounds that you have before everything ends was a brilliant move on behalf of Brennan. And round 1, everything seemed pretty okay. They were kind of taking care of business. Of course, until Pasha gets hit by that fireball and is once again down to 2 hit points. And then round 2, things start getting really, really bad. Nidus almost immediately goes down to 3 hit points. They lose the dragon, which means that they have to fight the taxmen basically themselves now. I think it was just Xerxes and Nidus who were the main thrust against the taxmen. Everyone else was either trying to finish the engine or fight Vespin Chloris. And then Laren has to make another choice. And I think it was because she didn't roll that great of an Arcana check in that moment. She had to decide between either minimizing the magical blowback of activating the astrolabe rite to preserve Cath Moira and Avalier, or letting the damage happen and ensuring that the primordial Emperor and Empress are banished. And of course, Laren, being the cold something that she is, decides to make sure that they are gone. And I thought that was awesome. That was a cold move that made perfect sense for Laren as a character. And even as someone who would be faced with that situation, of course, if you're going to lose everything, it better be worth it. And she was going to make it worth it. And Pasha was right there, and she's down with the ship. We got this. And she holds her action. And little do we know, she was holding that wish spell that was totally freaking clutch. And I think Xerxes went down this round. Oh, what it was, Sam, at the very tail end of this round, made the smartest choice. Xerxes had just gone down. It must have been so tempting for him to try to bring Xerxes back up, but instead he held his healing word. Damn, that was freaking awesome. I don't think Sam gets enough credit for how intelligent of a player he is. We all know he is quick and witty and sharp, but strategically, that was amazing. He knew, and yes, Brennan had given him a little bit of a hint, but he took it and he ran with it. He knew that they just had to make sure that Laren finished her round. So he holds that healing word instead of doing something to attack the taxmen or Vespin Chloris or anything else. Thank God he did, because round 3 was insane. It was insane. Vespin Chloris tries to power word kill Laren. And then after that, there is the whole mishmash of Saritz gets a reaction, then silvery barbs, then disadvantage, then counterspell, then oh no, another reaction. That confusion, my brain is still broken from that. But holy God, Travis rolled the natural 20. Oh, this game, you guys, is so awesome. I don't even think this is the first time that Travis had rolled a natural 20. Not in this particular campaign, but I think maybe in campaign 2, he really pulled out a natural 20 when they really, really needed it. Sometimes that man just has the luck of the dice with him, but he kills Vespin Chloris. Fortunately, the taxmen are still up, so people are going down. I think Xerxes had already gone down, then Nidus does, then Pasha, and then Laren gets hit. But Quay was holding that healing word. So she doesn't even go unconscious. She activates the astral ley right and banishes the primordials. And it was like the ultimate act of redemption for her character, I thought. That her machine worked. She did it. Her intelligence in the end saved the day. And sure, it didn't save it for the city or for Kath Moira or the continent or even the Ring of Brass, but it saved it for the mortals of Exandria. Oh, you guys, I can't take it. I loved this so much. And, God, it was such a ride. And Sarah survived. Oh, Sarah survived. I think we all needed that. I love the dark and the doom and gloom, but just having that tiny little spark of hope that Sarah got to, go home again for whatever that means, to someone who no longer has a home. It was beautiful. It was beautifully played, and I'm really gonna miss it. Like 4 episodes was just not enough. I really hope that they, obviously not with these characters, but they as actors are able to come back and do guest spots again on Critical Role. It was amazing. You guys, I can't believe we made it to the end. You've got to tell me in the comments what some of your favorite moments were. We love hearing from you guys. Yeah, that's it for the Exandria Unlimited Calamity highlights. Of course, we will be back doing our Campaign 3 highlight videos. The Campaign 3 picks up again on June 30th, so keep an eye out that next week. Claudia and I will be back doing our highlights. We've got all the videos up if you need to catch up and remind yourself where we are in Campaign 3. Just look at our YouTube channel. And in the meantime, we are hoping to interview some of our favorite dungeon masters that we know. So if you guys are interested in playing D&D or maybe running your own game, make sure you tune into those because we're going to have all kinds of good tips and tricks for you there. And then we are also in talks to do an interview with an author friend of mine, who some of you critters may recognize. Can't announce anything official just yet, but stay tuned. It could be pretty cool. Fingers crossed we're able to do it. As always, comment below, like and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. It's been indescribable how amazing it's been to see all of you guys watching these videos and interacting, and we love it. It means the world to us. So, it's been real, guys. Thank you. Bye.